Hey guys, how are you? Brian Bradley from Egoscue here again. Today we're going to talk about a little short discussion. I want to talk about maybe the lower extremity, the lower leg, specifically knee down to the ankle and foot. I had a lot of requests for this, and I also had a lot of requests from the last video to be a little less technical, especially from our client base. So I'll try to mix both together. Being less technical is really easy for me. I'm just dumb enough to get it, right? So what I want to discuss with you today is how the body is connected from the midsection up, the midsection down, how your ankle and foot can affect what's going on in your shoulder, how your shoulder can affect what's going on in your foot. So if you think about it and you raise your hand, how many people out there have had chronic knee and ankle and foot symptoms? How many people wake up in the morning and it feels like you're stepping on glass, or you're walking on something sharp in the morning via the plantar fascia being irritated or whatever happens to be going on with it? How many people have been diagnosed with things like Morton's neuroma, or you have bunion surgery or things like that? So where this discussion today, where I'm going to take this, is hopefully going to spark some questions and maybe give people some answers and some conclusions about why they still have symptoms or why the symptom came on in the first place. So let's start off with the last time we discussed, back pain, stuff like that. We went through the pelvic girdle. We went through the curves of the spine. We went through the position of the pelvis from the front, the rear. And if you can picture this, looking at where these legs come out of the pelvic girdle and come down to the knee, come down to the shin, tibia, come down to the foot and ankle, a lot of the drive and a lot of the movement should be centered right around this area. Jackal and Perry in gait analysis, we had talked about this before, that the upper body should be the passenger along for the ride as the pelvic girdle and the lower extremity drive you through your gait pattern or the way that you walk. So in layman's terms, your hips should be doing the work to get you moving. That should be the base of the whip, allowing the rest of the body then to move. So that goes for pitching a baseball, hitting a baseball with a bat, hitting a golf ball, getting up and down out of your car, off of your toilet, getting in and out of bed, whatever it might be, going from standing to lying down or laying down and not having chronic symptoms. So as the pelvic girdle dictates throughout the body muscularly, and of course we have fascia, and we won't go into a huge amount of that, but it's a different subject. But as the muscles move the bones, as the movement is generated up and down the chain from when you strike the ground, how that body reacts to that, did you hit on the center part of your heel, the lateral part of your heel, all of these different things come into play. So one thing I want you to do when we're finished with this is I want you to take off your shoes and walk around your house barefoot, preferably on a harder surface, hardwood floors, maybe some tile, or even just go outside and walk around barefoot and feel what your body is doing as it strikes the ground. You should be hitting the center part of your heel, not way up like this, but the center part of your heel to the mid stance of the foot. Over all 5 of your toes is where your push-off should be. Think about it from 60% of your push happening off of your big toe, 70, 80, 90, 100 would equal your 100% distributed over those 4 other toes. So a lot of people, what you do is you end up hitting on the lateral part of your heel, and then you cross the midline to your big toe, and you wonder why you have foot pain, you have bunion symptoms, you have chronic ankle cramping and foot cramping, you have neuromas, you have a crunched up foot, which is why the whole talk about barefoot walking and running is so prevalent now. We at Egoscue have been talking about that, I know, the last 20 years of how long I've been in business. Pete Egoscue has been really emphasizing barefoot workouts forever, and I know that there were coaches in New Zealand talking about the same thing. So ideally, we want to get a person barefoot, have them do the exercises barefoot, have them walk around, feel where your body is loaded as you walk and as you stand. For example, when you stand barefoot, close your eyes. Where's your body left to right? Where is it from front to back? And then go through the exercises that have been prescribed to you from the Egoscue method and see if there's a difference. Even if there's not a change in symptom. Even if you don't really feel a change, well, I wasn't really hurting in the first place, so I don't really have anything to compare it to. You do have your balance and where your body is standing. You definitely can do a before and after daily on that. So let's think about this. As the ankle hits the ground, or as the heel hits the ground, it creates a reaction throughout the rest of the body, and the different ligaments in the ankle will give a feedback mechanism to the central nervous system to now go, okay, well, this is the ground we're standing on, this is what part of my foot I'm hitting with, and then the body will make compensated adjustments. So you may actually elevate your shoulder to stabilize your left foot strike. Those of you that are into fascia, and let's talk about fascia for a second. It's like a real thin leotard within the body on the muscular system below the skin. If there's an adhesion in part of that, it can actually affect the global system as it relates to the fascial system. So something going on from a rotator cuff tear, or from, for example, like a breast augmentation. People have scars all the time, here, through the areola, or underneath the breast. And those adhesions get worse and worse and worse over the years, and they wonder why that shoulder starts to move here, and that affects the rest of the system. So you could actually say, my scar tissue at that part of my fascial system is why my foot is a symptom, because now that whole fascial system is inhibiting what that foot and ankle are doing. So you can treat the foot all day long, but it creates its own issues. So for example, one of the exercises I think should be done every day are foot circles, point flexes with somebody. Every single day, every person should be doing supine foot circles and point flexes. If you don't want to know what those are, you can email me, painfree@egoscue.com. We can try to discuss it with you. You can definitely call me at the 800-995-8434 number. You can also find the exercises in the Pain Free book. This book sold over almost 4 million copies. It's crazy how much business this book has gotten. So it's definitely a great book as it relates to teaching that. Another exercise is the plantar fascia stretch, where basically you cross your left ankle over to your right knee. You can even hold your leg and take your fingers and put them one by one between your toes. So this has to be done barefoot. And then you can manipulate the foot and the ankle through circles in both directions, and moving the ankle and foot through dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, basically pointing and pulling the toes up and down. But the hand is helping do the movement, so you're actually manipulating the bones and the soft tissue, and you are the one doing the work. So those are two quick exercises you can use. The one is the supine foot circles and point flexes. The other is the plantar fascia stretch. And there's no real specific, it's not rocket science. Even if you do them slightly wrong, we're not building the space shuttle here. Nothing's going to be, nobody's going to get injured by it other than you if you don't do them at all. And think about it. If you can manipulate the foot in some way, maybe as you strike the floor the next time, the central nervous system feedback is now different than it was 5 minutes before this. And if you do your entire Egoscue menu, I guarantee you your balance and your walking stride is going to be different. And overall, if you do this daily, 5 days a week, take a couple days off, whatever, it will have a cumulative effect over a time frame that will completely change the way your body's striking the ground. So let's recap. The foot and the ankle can be told very quickly what to do by the pelvis if you get your pelvis in the right place. On the consequential side, you can also have major compensations in your shoulder, your neck, and everything, which is why you have symptoms up here daily, and we know you do. We see it all the time. Those are now shutting down your foot strike. So you could actually walk across your room with your elbows back and feel completely different foot strike than you would if your hands were down. That's because your upper back has now become a dictator instead of a passenger on what the pelvic girdle should be telling it what to do. So if you're a golfer, I had a guy tell me the other day, every time he golfs, every day after he gets done golfing 18 holes, his left foot and ankle are killing him. Well, he's not rolling his ankle, he's not spraining his ankle, but in a way he is. He's overly compensated in the ankle to justify the dysfunctional weight shift that he's getting in his golf swing. And that could be remedied by the pelvic girdle and the upper back doing their job, which comes from doing the exercises. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions about what Egoscue is, definitely get the Pain Free book by Pete Egoscue. Any major bookstore or Amazon or anything like that will have it. My 800 number is 995-8434. Again, it's Brian Bradley. And my email directly to me is painfree@egoscue.com. FootAnkle.MP4.cue.com. I hope you found this entertaining. Well, probably not entertaining, but hope you found it informative. And I apologize ahead of time if I was too analytical with some of the explanations, but I tried to make it more so the customer base can understand it, okay? Thanks. I appreciate your time.